we're going to invite Margie to come up now to introduce Frank McKenna as our special guest speaker, the Hon.Margaret McCain.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your Honor, Mr. Premier, Wade, Honorable Catherine, distinguished guests, I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you all tonight to honor the many, many, many contributions of Catherine Callbeck. She has made so many contributions to the quality of life in Prince Edward Island and also to all Canadians. Catherine, you've made an enormous difference for so many people, and I'm delighted to be here tonight to join with your countless fans and friends to recognize all that you have accomplished and all that you have given. And I want to add my personal admiration and gratitude. It is with great pleasure that I share the stage tonight with many champions of early childhood development, particularly with you, Premier Giz, and Chances. You are to be commended for the innovative leadership in PEI in moving the early childhood agenda forward, and you continue to lead your government in supporting these efforts. The Margaret and Wallace McCain Family Foundation values our partnership with the government of PEI and the Madavi Foundation in demonstrating what is possible at Chances. Together, we are creating comprehensive early childhood and family services that are high quality and financially viable and can inform public policy benefiting all island children, all island society. Now, I have the privilege and pleasure of introducing my good friend and our special guest speaker, the Honorable Frank McKenna, former Premier of New Brunswick, longtime champion of early childhood development. Frank was born and raised in Appohaqui, New Brunswick, a village near Sussex, about the size of Florenceville. Fraser Mustard would say that Frank had good early years. He and his siblings were nurtured by his parents and grandparents on the family farm. As it is with many successful people, he had two very strong women in his life, a very devoted mother and devoted grandmother, who instilled in him the values of hard work, education, respect, and caring for people. After his primary and secondary education in the local schools in Appohaqui and Sussex, Frank went on to receive his Bachelor of Arts at St. FX University. There, he was elected as president of the Student Administrative Council on the winning slogan, "Want more dances? Vote for Francis." That signaled things to come. From St. FX, Frank went on to postgraduate studies at Queen's University and UNB Law School, where he earned degrees in political science and law. Frank practiced law for a few years in Chatham, New Brunswick, and achieved national attention when he successfully defended the boxer Yvonne Durrell on a murder charge. In 1982, he was elected to the New Brunswick legislature, and 3 years later, he was chosen leader of the New Brunswick Liberal Party. 2 years after that, at the young age of 39, Frank won a stunning victory, ending the 17-year reign of Richard Hatfield, capturing all 52 seats in the legislature. I remember that night very well. It was a great night in New Brunswick. Frank has a unique gift. He can connect with and relate to people of all ages and stripes. It's a fun exercise to follow Frank anywhere in Canada. From a leisurely stroll down the street or to try to find a seat in a restaurant. It's like being in the company of a rock star. He gives everyone a smile and gives everyone his time. During his 10 years as Premier of the province, he promised when he was elected that he would only stay 10 years, and he left of his own accord. But when he was Premier, he put New Brunswick on the map. And he became not only a media darling, but a champion of the business community by successfully merging his belief in fiscal conservatism and social liberalism, a strong economy to support our social programs. Frank hustled jobs for New Brunswick all over the world, sometimes to the chagrin of his fellow premiers. His tenure as premier was rooted in his two driving principles: hard work and integrity, doing the right thing. After he became premier, private planes and limos were mothballed, and one very expensive restaurant in Fredericton actually went out of business due to lack of government support. Frank insisted that the MLAs dine in the legislature cafeteria, just as he did. He ran to work around 7 a.m. and was always available and accessible to the people. He still is. If you wanted a word with Frank, all you had to do was go to the city market on Saturday morning. Following his years as Premier, he served as Canada's ambassador to the United States. And Frank is now a much respected and loved Canadian statesman, always hustling for Canada and Canadians, especially Atlantic Canada. Now, Frank and Julie are very devoted parents and grandparents of 4 girls and 3 boys. Frank is known to his grandchildren as Wolf, short for Beowulf. Now, when they were expecting their first grandchild, Julie wanted just to be called Julie. So Frank decided he wanted to be different, and he chose the name Beowulf, which is now Wolf. And the 7 children love Wolf's porridge that he makes for them every morning. He does make it himself. My youngest granddaughter said it best with a simple question. At the age of 2, like all other children, she fell in love with Frank. And walking with him one day, clutching his hand, she turned to Julie on her right and said, "Julie, will you share Frank with me?" Now that's how Canadians feel. We want to share his passion, his energy, his wisdom, and his vision and caring for Canada. So tonight, to honor Catherine Callbeck, Julie is sharing Frank with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Frank McKenna.